It's
So
worth
back
noting
to
that.
back to what I was talking about in the Union. Apparently, let me find the exact. I don't want to misquote it, but Jim Steranko said the Chinese pandemic has stolen a year from our lives. I felt it as much as anyone. Those who know me and have hung out with me at shows know the importance I lay on personal appearances and connecting at gigs with fans from every corner of the USA. We'll be ready when you are. When you are is in exclamation points. And then there's a bunch of comments underneath it with people that are disappointed in him and kind of calling for him to be canceled. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Jim Steranko's?
He's a snazzy dressing mofo, dude. He looks always his best when he's at the shows. He's old school man, dude. So I'm not gonna hate on him for saying that. He's an old dude. He's like, what? Isn't he like in his 80s, 90s?
For sure. I mean, his toupee is at least 50.
Yeah, old people say the most racist things you can ever hear out of their mouths because they were from that generation where it was okay to be racist. It's just the way it was.
Do you think it was racist or out of line? I didn't gather anything.
I think because he mentioned it as the Chinese virus and what's going on right now with the way that they're being attacked out on the streets, it's kind of like, dude, come on. It's already, the damage is already being done. And it's just like, you could have used a better word. You could have just said COVID-19, but with him saying it like that, it kind of just adds more fuel to that fire that's going on right now. But so like I said, dude.
It's the actual calling it the Chinese virus?
Yeah.
But I mean, hasn't before. Now, I'm not leaning one way or the other, but I'm just going to posit some things out there. When they called the Spanish flu because it had originated in Spain and it wiped out a bunch of returning World War I vets.
I'm offended.
Say that again?
Spanish. Isn't it just the flu? I'm just joking.
More or less.
I didn't know you were Spanish.
Or like when the bird flu came out.
Come on.
I thought you were Central American.
When the bird flu came out, were people like anti-bird species? I think that
actually, yeah, they were.
I was shooting with my BB gun because I did not want to get that flu.
Like, no, but I want to play. I want it to be light, but I do want it to take it a little bit seriously and just to really think about, like, on the surface, if we had like accepted it as the China virus, like the bird flu came from China, right? The swine flu came from China as well, but we didn't call all of those a China virus. They all got different names, probably associated. Why did this become the Chinese flu or the COVID and not become like the bat flu? I don't know. Maybe think people are trying to be offended. And who's going to cancel Jim Steranko? Is he going to lose his sitcom, or what's going to happen to him?
Well, look, I think part of the issue is, and this is probably something that happens for those of us that are a little bit on the older side, is we've been in the world for a long time, and we've been through a lot of pandemics, and we've never had the world react in this particular way. And it seems a little bit on the nose and a little bit absurd that it's coming out of this place that's our global enemy. That a lot of people don't think about this, but the Communist Party of China is our number one enemy on the world stage. And, talk about bat soup all you want, but their number one virology research lab is in Wuhan, where the virus breaks out, and everybody wants to call it a friggin' coincidence. There's just too many things that smell rotten about this. And I think the fact that it was called the Chinese virus initially was because we're recognizing that these people are our enemies. They don't have our best interest at heart. And this virus that comes out of there and supposedly hits everywhere like a ton of bricks and starts, killing people by the millions. Basically the whole thing is messed up. And I don't think that we can accept the narrative that as it's been given to us. And I think Steranko probably feels the same way. And he's probably like a lot of us, that we're just ready to get back to life as it was before we all got scared out of our mind.
Yeah, and conventions is pretty much his lifeline right now, right? I don't know how much old artists paid into Social Security and whatnot, but it's a big deal.
I'm sure he gets, because Marvel's been doing a lot of homage covers, but they're always for their like super ratio variants, like the 1 of 50s and the 1 of 100s, and they're bringing some of the old like art that they've done in the past out. I don't know if they're getting any kickback for that, or if Marvel just figures, well, we own the rights to it, let's just use it as a promotional thing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of artists are like that. Their bread and butter came from these conventions, and and especially if they like, that's how they're able to keep their, I don't want to say legacy because that seems so grandiose, but their legacy going with the next generation of kids. Nate's going to bring his kid, Isaac and Jose, you're all going to bring your kids to the convention to meet your comic hero. And that's when they get a chance to meet kind of the next generation to carry on that I love this artist. I'm going to introduce you to them. They influenced me this way. And then they get to connect. And then them, I think as an artist, especially the older ones, are like, they can see that the next generation of kids are following and appreciating the same their art. And they know that when they slip off into the oblivion, they know that they've hit that next generation, or a couple of generations out, that they're not obsolete, that this is still going on, and they've left something behind that people are going to know and appreciate. I think that's important for some of these, especially some of the older artists, to know that it's.
Yeah, Nate did that with Lin Wayne and some of the other guys when he met him with Miles. And I remember seeing those pictures, and it was just like, that's cool, because you could tell in that picture that you're telling Miles about Lin Wayne and how he influenced you, and you can see the spark in your eyes and like the interest in Miles. Just in that pictures that you have of that, you can tell that was like a pivotal moment in your fan geekdom, that you were able to enjoy that with your son and share it with him. Does he remember? Let's ask him. Call him over.
He's doing homework, man. He's in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some people joining in. Let's see. Kitty K, Make Have It. Kitty K says, reality is, if you were Asian, how would you feel? Well, it's a tough one. I guess being a minority, it leaves you with a bad taste.
Yeah. Can I?
Being the Asian guy here, I'm not offended.
Yeah. Let me address that. I don't think that this is when it's called the Chinese virus. I don't think that the shot is being made at the Chinese people as in the Han people. I think it's being made at the nation state of China. And we have to differentiate between that. When I say that China is our number one enemy on the world stage, I'm not talking about the Chinese people. I'm talking about the damn commies. I grew up during the era of the Soviet Union. I remember who the commies were and why they're the bad guys. And they've just moved over to a different nation. So I don't think we need to take the idea that it's called the Chinese virus as an offense against Chinese people. It's against the state. We need to keep that separate. And one more thing about this whole viral thing that we're experiencing. It's not the virus that killed businesses and killed conventions. And really, it's not even the government that has this ridiculous overreaction and the fact that they're trying to oppress us. The real reason that the conventions have all failed is because we are cowards. So when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're lamenting the fact that Comic-Con is canceled this year, remember that it's because you put on a face mask and you social distance and you don't go to your grandma's for Christmas and all of that stuff for this overblown, ridiculous virus. It's just, I'm sorry, it's not what they're telling us. These people that govern us, we know that they're corrupt on both the right and the left. We know that they're liars every damn day of the week. But for some reason, we take their word as gospel truth when it comes to this virus. I wouldn't have these people that run the show make me a friggin' cheeseburger. Why am I going to take medical advice from these guys? They don't know what they're talking about. They just don't. Sorry.
Lego, we haven't chimed in too much. Lego, what do you got for us?
I'm just along for the ride here.
Hey, my coworker David showed up. What's up, David?
Nice. I'm
You know,
cruising.
I don't want to say that I agree with Josh 100%, and that's why we're all here. We all have different ideas and points, and I want to say that, you know, when we look at history's villains, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we were probably offline, but we talk about history's villains. You get number one, a bad guy villain is always going to be Adolf Hitler. And the thing is that because he killed, was it 6 million Jews, right? If you go, anybody who's watching right now, go on Google and try to figure out how many Chinese people that Mao killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I do want to harp on that no people are our enemy. People are just people. People who are, you know, trying to sneak into the country, people in foreign lands, people in this country. Everybody has a family, and they all got wives, and they all got kids that they're trying to feed. And most people and are trying to do what's best for them and theirs. And you know, there is an element of people trying to control us, and there's always something deeper to what's going on with all of this stuff. But I just don't think that the cancel culture, you know, like the best way, in my opinion, for these people to be silenced isn't to remove the microphone, it's to let them say what they want to say. And then if they seem silly, then they silence themselves because people stop listening to those people. And when you remove the microphone, people kind of they'll go over there and they'll try to follow that. And it can be a tough time for sure. So let's try to lighten this up a little bit. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Collection Connection Talking live stream. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/Collection Connection, and watch us stream live at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time every Monday, where you can leave comments and chat with us, and we will actually read your comments on the show. And of course, please like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.